Hello, and welcome to Our Sailor Stories, the podcast from the USS Hornet Sea, Air and Space Museum.
Hi, my name is Geoff Abreu. I'm president of the USS Hornet Amateur Radio Club. I've been a member of the club for about 9 years, and I've been president for about 4 years. He believes he's talked to us a few times before. That's correct.
Yes, we have. Do you keep a log of everybody that you talk to?
Yeah, that's what this is a log. So I can, when I put his call in, I can see when we've talked to him before. And then once I log him, what I've been doing today will show up. We've worked several times before.
How can you tell when a new call is coming in or like a new connection?
I'll call like a general call for somebody to answer me, and then they'll come back on my frequency. They'll send our call on the Hornet and then their call on the Hornet. So he's calling me back after I make a general call.
So you send out our call sign, and then they send back their
It's
call
called
sign?
CQ. It's just a general call for someone to answer. The other way I could do it is I could find somebody calling CQ themselves and just answer them. So I would send their call and then the Hornet's call, so they'd know we were calling them. So, easy peasy. But this is one of our new radios. All the old ones in the rack are going to be replaced by these. So
Are these one of the new radios that you got with the grant?
Yeah.
Nice. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
What have you gotten so far with the grant?
We got a grant for $90,000 from ARDC, which is a group that issues grants to amateur radio organizations, and we've got all new radios, so 5 of these, which is actually the black box there. They're what's called software-defined radios, so the actual radio is in the computer software. The part that transmits is still the hardware. With the old radios, it's kind of similar in that we can control them with the computer, but we're still using the physical radio as the radio. So these radios are much more state-of-the-art, a lot better receivers so we can hear things better, and they're just newer, so we probably won't have to maintain them like the old ones. Along with those, we got all new computers, because the computers we've been using are about 20 years old, so they're a little slow. So we have brand new Dell computers. We got 6 of those. We have these, I can't remember how big they are. I think they're 35 or 36 inch monitors. So every station will have one of these monitors. And then we got money to, we're using the ship's original antennas. So we've got money to put we're going to try and put at least 4 more of the antennas online. We're using 4 now. So that'll give us 8 that we can choose from. And we'll have 6 people will be able to operate at the same time from here. So right now it's 4. So we'll be able to have more operators operating at the same time. So that's, we're going to get new chairs too, so they all match. There's a program up there that's running. We've got a better one coming and a bigger monitor there, 50-inch monitor, and that program will allow people to see who we're talking to real time on like a world map with sun up, sun down. And then we've got another monitor that we're going to put down on the hangar deck with a sign or something saying these are what the guys in the radio room are doing, so they'll be able to see who we're talking to, and then if they're interested they can ask security or docent or someone to bring them up here when we're on the air. And I think that about covers it. I mean, we got battery backups for the computers and for the radios, but that's most of it.
So in case of like an emergency, you'd still be able to use every
if the
single
power
one
goes
of them.
out with the new radios, they're going to have battery backup. So if the power goes out, they'll stay on.
What does the extra antennas and the better equipment mean for the volunteers, for the radio, the younger ones that you're teaching about?
I think what it means for them is they'll be able to use modern equipment because the stuff we had was kind of outdated. So now they'll get to see what current technology is with this radio using the computer as the radio instead of, your old-fashioned big heavy radio. I mean, those that we were using weigh probably 40 or 50 pounds, and these might weigh less than 10 because it's mostly software. So there's a lot more modes that they can use when they're sitting at a station. So there's several digital modes we'll be able to use. Of course, voice. We're still getting the voice set up, but we think we have it figured out where we can have wireless headsets for the voice. So I think it's just going to be a lot nicer that they're going to be able to use modern technology.
So not all of it is Morse code. Some of it you can use voice too. Okay.
We can use voice. We can use digital. There's a mode called FT8 where it's basically computer to computer. It's very automated. Once you start a conversation, the computer takes over and does the whole thing for you. All you got to do is log the contact. We have another mode we can use that's called DMR. I can use a little handheld radio and talk all around the world on it. Digital, so it's crystal clear. No interference like this, which is HF or shortwave. There can be fading or interference. With the DMR system that we have here in the shack, which is another newish technology, with just a little handheld radio that someone can buy for $150 maybe. They can talk all around the world from in here in the radio room using that. So there's more than just Morse code. That's just what I like doing. I've been doing it for 47 years, and that's what I like doing. So.
It's natural to you.
Plus, my mouth doesn't get dry from talking all day, so I can just sit up here and zone out. So.
How many volunteers do you have in the radio division?
Right now, we have almost 80 members in the club.
Who's the youngest, or what's the youngest age?
The youngest right now, high school age.
Wow.
Yeah. And the rest, a lot of us are older, obviously. We've been doing it for a while. So that's one of the things we hope the ARDC grant will allow us to do is to get younger people more interested.
So you are looking for new volunteers as
well? Oh, yeah.
Constantly, okay.
I think with cell phones and Skype and things like that, people take for granted that you can just pick up a device and speak to somebody around the world. So this is kind of the old-fashioned way, but I think it's cool. I thought it was cool when I was 13, 40-something years ago. So there's still young people that are interested. I go to, I kind of work in the ham radio industry, so I go to events and I see young people there. Not as many as I'd like to see, but they're there. So hopefully this new equipment will allow us to attract more of those people. We'll be able to bring them up into the radio room and show them. And once we have all the new radios and monitors and everything, it should visually be appealing to them. So, and then if we can get them on the air, which we can, they don't have to have a license as long as one of us is around. They can talk themselves to whoever calls them back on the air. Or if I'm in a conversation with somebody, I can hand them the microphone and they can talk. So that's always fun.
Have you ever gotten to contact the space station?
No, and in fact we tried. I don't know if you know, but we tried. There's a group called ARIS, Amateur Radio on the International Space Station, and they have a program where kids can come here and we set up a radio link to the space station, and then they'd be able to talk to astronauts on the space station. So we applied for this latest round and we didn't get it. But luckily they told us what they were looking for that we didn't tell them, so hopefully we're going to try again, and then we'll be able to do that too. I mean, I think the way we were thinking of setting it up as on the hangar deck with a big screen TV, and then kids are going to have questions that they've already written out that they're going to ask the astronauts, because it's a very limited time that I think it's about 15 minutes to pass. So that's all the time we have. So we obviously can't put everybody on, but there will be people that will be chosen, and then I think there's a video link, and then we'd have the radio link. So we'll try again. I actually met the executive director of ARIS through a Zoom call that I had with ARDC, who are the people that gave us the grant. So we'll try again. I think we were a little confident that it was easy. Well, it wasn't easy to get the ARDC grant, and we got it. And then we thought, well, we should be able to get the ARIS grant too, but not on the first try. So we'll try again. But yeah, the space station is in the works.
That's awesome.
So that'll be a lot of fun.
How long have you been volunteering for the radio club?
I think this is my 9th year.
What got you started here at the Hornet?
My fiance had a coupon for a visit to the ship for free, and she knew I was into history, especially naval history and World War II history, so I came on board and spent the whole day here. And then on the way out, I said, I think there's a radio station on the ship, and of course I was licensed, so found out who to talk to, and figured out who to meet and where to meet, and so I came up here and joined the club, and then I've been president, I think, now for the last 4 years. Wasn't intending to, but that's the way it worked out. So.
And how many hours a week do you think you volunteer at the Hornet?
Usually, probably per week, I would say, usually when I'm here usually 7 to 12 hours a day.
Wow.
Because I'll get here at 7 in the morning and I'll stay till 5 or 6 o'clock at night. And I'll try and do that 3 or 4 times a month. I have the radio room open so that members can come in and operate. You don't have to have a license to be a member of the club. And you don't have to live in the immediate area to be a member of the club. We have people in Europe, we have people in Australia, and all over the United States that are club members.
I heard that you guys recently got the Hornet's historical call sign reinstated.
Yes, we did.
How did that process work?
There's an event that goes on every year in, I want to say March, I could be wrong, May. And it's called the Armed Forces Day Crossband Test, where we're allowed to use military frequencies, and we talk to hams who talk back to us on the ham frequencies. So they're not coming back to us on the same frequency we're transmitting. We're what's called out of band. We're on military frequencies. So I noticed last year that a bunch of the stations that were doing it were some of the other museum ships, and they had their original Navy call signs. So I started doing a little research to find out who to call, and I talked to the Navy Marine Corps. It's called the Spectrum Office in San Diego, and then I was told I had to have a call sign, so I'm like, well, I'm going to try and get the Hornets call sign. So actually the president of the radio club on Iowa contacted me and said, this is who you need to talk to get the call sign back from the Navy. So I contacted the Navy, not the ones in San Diego at the Marine Corps Spectrum Office, somebody back in Maryland or near Annapolis.
The
somewhere.
office Navy.
Yeah, the regular Navy, the guys that assigned the call signs, and said, I want to try and get the call sign back for the ship. And it had not been reissued, because sometimes they reissue it to another ship. So that made things easier, supposedly. And they said, no problem, we can reissue that call sign to you. And they asked a few questions, and I filled out some forms. And I waited, and I got an email back from them saying, your call sign's been approved. And when I looked at it, they gave us the wrong call sign. So I contacted them and said, hey, this isn't the call sign we were supposed to get. And they said, oh, we got to redo everything, so it has to go back up the chain of command. So I waited some more, and finally, after a couple months, we got our original call sign, which is NBGC. And the club call sign when we're on the amateur bands is NB6GC. So, but for the first time in, since 1970, the call sign was back on the air last May. And I'm hoping that I can use it for some other events like Pearl Harbor Day or the ship's commissioning day or Splashdown. I've just got to get back in the loop with the Navy and probably fill out more paperwork, but that's my intent, is to put that call sign on the air more often. The amateurs like it because we're on the military band, so I think that's a big deal to them, that they can talk to us on the military bands. And we have a special QSL card, which is the cards we send back and forth, with our original Navy call on it and a picture of the F-14 up on the flight deck. So, and, yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad it worked out. I was hoping that it would. When everything got messed up when they gave us the wrong call sign, it was a little stressful for about a month. But they came through. So, and I have connections now if I want to do it again. So yeah. I don't think the second time around it'll be as difficult as the first time.
And then if you could tell one thing to the donors and the supporters of the ship about the radio club, what would it be?
I'd like them to know that I consider what we do as kind of like a PR extension, because we're on the air telling people we're on the ship, telling people all over the world, letting them know we're here every time we get on the air. So, also when somebody sends us a QSL card and we send one back, in exchange, there's a package they can buy where we give them a patch and a certificate and everything. And when we send that back, we give them 2 free passes to the Hornet. So while we're on the air, we're attracting people to the ship from all over the world to potentially come visit. So it's not like we're just up here playing on the radios. I like to consider it as a kind of a PR thing. So.